So I did this this V60 to V50 comparison. I'll drop the link in right here. And I showed off a couple photo samples. And I don't think losing a telephoto zoom camera is much of a compromise. So I showed this off. This is the establishing shot. This is phone A at 2x zoom. This is phone B at 2x zoom. And I've got comments in here. They're loading very slowly, but people trying to guess which phone was which, and just talking about which phone they liked better. The number of people who got the answer right fell roughly into kind of coin flip guess territory. There was not a clear consensus on which phone was which. I purposely chose 2 samples to illustrate the differences between indoor photography in medium light, because I think I keep the lab, the gadget lab, pretty well lit. I've got 3 China balls going on here in one room, and outdoor daylight photography. For all the people complaining about the V60 not having a telephoto zoom sensor, one of the critical things that a lot of people still don't understand is that most phones will switch from the telephoto sensor to the main sensor in mixed or dim lighting conditions. And that includes good, bright indoor lighting. As soon as the phone detects that it does not have optimal sunlight directly on your subject, it switches to the main camera sensor, crops that photo, and then blows up that image, because that is still a higher quality image than what the zoom sensor on its own can accomplish. I did one photo here indoors. We should be able to see some clear differences between those two, those two phones and how they shoot. And then I did one outdoors, and we should see different performance in bright daylight. Let's jump to some samples. I'm gonna try and share these directly. I've never played with the photo slideshow on OBS, but let's give it a try. Here is the establishing shot. This was actually shot from phone A. Here is phone A at 2x zoom and phone B at 2x zoom. And honestly, I'd call this a wash. At 2x zoom, both of these are in the same ballpark. Pros and cons, some subtle differences. You have to really pixel peep to see some of the soft edging around the slinky. But then we get to 10x zoom. And this is 10x zoom from phone A and 10x zoom from phone B. Phone A, phone B. Q3 Becker, this is great audio content. I know, people listening to the audio version of this, I'll probably cut this segment and just link to a trimmed down YouTube version of this. Phone A, phone B. If you want to see that side by side, here is phone A next to phone B. Now, someone in the live chat here, which one do you think looks better, phone A or phone B? Matt Tyler likes phone B, but pretty much everyone else likes phone A. And Fat Produce says, I think phone B is the V50 telephoto. So here's what's tricky. Phone B is the V50. The V50 does not use the telephoto in bright indoor lighting. That phone switches you over to the main camera sensor and then crops and upscales based on how far you zoom. That V60 test, where having substantially more resolution, yeah, the photo gets a little bit grainier, but there is substantially more information and detail in this image. When you really look at, this isn't just sharpening. Like Samsung likes to do that trick. They just dump on a bunch of sharpening and then, oh yeah, it's more detail and it's more crisp. It's usually not. This is legitimately more information than what the V50 is able to accomplish, and that's the benefit of that crazy huge resolution bump. That zoom crop is actually more functional than where we were last year with these 12 megapixel sensors. For Matt Tyler, I liked B more. A was too yellow. Really? It is a gold microphone. Hold on. Matt, I need you to see this. It's a yellow microphone, Matt. It's a golden copper trim, man. So not only did the V50 blur all of the detail of the microphone, it got the color wrong, Matt. Everyone give Matt a shout out. Matt is my buddy. I don't mean to pick on him. That kind of stuff is hilarious. Matt needs a good pat on the back. So that brings us to the other comparison and why I purposely picked a daylight photo. Phone A and phone B are the same. So A is the V60 and B is the V50. I didn't want to play any silly gimmicky games like that. You know, phone A is phone A is phone A. I felt that this was important too because we've got a lot of contrast between the darker bark on the tree and then clouds directly behind. So then we go to 2x and we can see some of the differences. So the image actually, the metering changes a little bit more on the V60 than when the V50 switches. And actually, when we switch to the zoom sensor, the V50 is well represented here. But then we want to go to the full extreme. And this is V60 at 10x versus V50 at 10x. And I gotta say, the V50 is ever so slightly a little bit sharper with just a little bit more information retained. LG is also playing a bit of a Samsung game here where there is more sharpening happening on the V50 photo also. But ultimately, I do believe in direct sun, bright light conditions, the V50 captures just a little bit more information. When you factor in all of the costs on the camera module on a phone, and you're not going to spend $1,400 on a periscoping, telescoping zoom camera. Do you make this phone more expensive to add a whole extra camera on this device that is only a tiny advantage under the most optimal shooting conditions? It's so close. I mean, V50 to V60, a proper standalone telephoto camera sensor to pixel cropping on a higher resolution sensor. I think if I were scrolling through my Instagram feed and I saw those two photos, they would be indistinguishable from each other. Do you want to make this phone more expensive? If that's the benefit we're really looking at. My vote would be no. But maybe I'm off. I don't know.